This standoff is not happening in a vacuum. On the ground, Iran's military and allied forces have already taken aggressive actions throughout the Gulf region. Reports indicate Iranian drones have struck infrastructure in neighboring countries, including power and water plants, causing material damage and raising alarms among Gulf states that rely on stable energy and utility supplies. Reddit. The fear of attacks on infrastructure is not limited to Iran's power grid. Consequences loom for oil export and processing facilities too. Facilities that, if hit, could disrupt not just Iran's economy, but global energy markets. Already oil prices have surged in response to the broader conflict. Traders around the world watch every headline for signs of escalation because even the threat of hitting Iranian infrastructure sends shockwaves through markets that depend on stable supply routes. ICIS Explorer. But let's go back to the roots of this crisis. For years, Iran and the United States have had hostile relations stretching back decades, woven into history through past wars, sanctions, nuclear program disputes, and regional influence struggles. What makes the current situation particularly volatile is the involvement of other actors, including Israel, and the visible willingness from all sides to engage in military operations beyond mere posturing. This increases the potential for miscalculation. A localized clash could rapidly grow into something far larger if either side believes it has no choice but to answer force with force. Critics of the U.S. approach argue that attacking civilian infrastructure, such as electricity plants or bridges, could cross a line into actions that violate international law. They point out that targeting facilities, which primarily serve civilian populations and are not direct military weapons, can be considered illegal under the laws of armed conflict. Legal experts have warned that such attacks could be viewed as war crimes because they have disproportionate impacts on civilians who depend on these systems for basic life needs. The Guardian. Even without these legal concerns, the humanitarian consequences are severe. Should power grids be damaged, millions of people could lose electricity. Water systems, which often depend on electric pumps, could fail. Hospitals, schools, transportation, and food distribution would all suffer. In Iran and potentially in countries around the Gulf that rely on interconnected infrastructure, these ripple effects could stretch far beyond national borders.